was a little tougher. Stop talking!
You know what Lego dinosaur thing I always wanted Lego to make?
Mr. T, I bet it has something to do with Dinosaur the Ride as an ultimate collector's set.
No, a mosasaur, a proper one, and they were finally given a new opportunity to do so, because as you can see, clearly, in the new Jurassic Park movie, there were plenty of scenes with Mosasaurus and Spinosauruses, so we could finally fill those holes in our collections if Lego gave us the opportunity. Well, they did with the Spinosaurus, but as far as the Mosasaurus went, it's brick-built. And if I wanted a brick-built dinosaur, I'd buy a collector set. So despite the Spinosaurus looking pretty good, I was pretty disappointed. But then, out of nowhere, someone else came in and did the job for us. Is that Turok set? Yeah, apparently on AliExpress, some random-ass company made basically a carbon copy of what I think is actually just the Lego Jurassic World set with a Spinosaur. However, instead of a brick-built Mosasaur, they gave us an actual proper Lego Mosasaur. So I got it, especially considering the fact that it was, what, $20? That's way better than like $100. And you get both a Mosasaur and a Spinosaurus, as well as some minifigures. Now, I would show you the box, but unfortunately, there wasn't a box. It came in this. No, I'm not joking. It was just this. There's a couple little bags full of pieces and the instructions. And they were easy enough to follow, and I got everything built up. So, how good is this new the Dinosaurs Alive brick-built set?
Let's peep this out.
Okay, first I want to start off with the minifigures, because these things are a bit special. So the first one we got here is this generic white male guy. And as far as fake minifigures go, they're not the worst I've ever had. I got a whole bunch of fake minifigures from the Cantina Ultimate Collector's set, and those things were pretty rough. But as far as this is concerned, it works. I will say the face looks really weird. The eyes are very separated. I don't know if it's to give it a more anime look, and considering the hair, maybe that's just it. Is this supposed to be based off of Camp Cretaceous? Because if so, I just don't know anything about that. All I know is that this guy just looks like a minifigure of Harry Potter from the 4th movie, but without his glasses.
Hurry!
He comes with binoculars. That's about it. I don't even know if this is supposed to be a character from the movie, because the only white guy was, not this. Now, as for minifigure number 2, it's a weird one, because he's got, like, an actual, like, colored shirt and vest on, but no sleeves? Interesting. Maybe if it was just the vest, that would make sense. Or maybe if he just had, like, white sleeves for, like, dual-layered printing on the arms, but no. I mean, this is a bootleg minifigure, and the face looks like that. So I shouldn't expect any better, but I just find it very funny. This guy just reminds me of Ben from Night of the Living Dead, but I'm 95% certain. No, 100% certain. That's just because I watched the Romero movies very recently. All pretty good, except Night of the Living Dead kind of aged a little weirdly. But you know what? Still decent. And, this might be my favorite of the minifigures, not only because of his silly design, but also he has a gun. He's very charming. And that Leslie says... Oh dear, man. We got the most spaced out looking minifigure. It's, a lass. I think her eyes are the farthest apart and she's got a really dopey expression. She just looks weird. Is this supposed to be Scarlett Johansson from the new movie? God, I hope not. She's a wonderful actress.
I can't believe I did you! You're fucking insane!
She has a walkie-talkie that she can use? I'm guessing so she can turn on the TV with it? Because I don't think she's going to be talking through this. What would she even say? I found the bunny rabbit. He's so cool. I'm coming for you. Yeah. Now, before we get to the dinosaurs, let's take a look at the build. It took roughly an hour and a half to build this, and it wasn't that bad of a build. It had a couple of weird parts. In particular, building this wasn't very fun. Most of the issues just comes from the structure, because this roof is supposed to come off, but it kind of doesn't. But then this one comes off very easily because of how poor the build structure is. If you can see, only 2 joints to hold these 2 entire pieces together. Very, very strange. Not a lot of thought went into it. As far as the build looks, it's a boat. It looks fine, looks nice. There's not very many places to put the minifigures, which is kind of unfortunate. But I mean, it's okay. It has some wheels on the bottom, so you can actually roll it, so I guess that's neat. I like this sticker on the front. Dinosaur Protection Agency. You sure are. Finally, let's go over the dinosaurs, and we'll first start off with by far the most disappointing one, the Spinosaurus. Yeah, unfortunately, this is just one of those AliExpress bootlegs, kind of like one of these guys, or this thing, where they basically just made or took a Dilophosaurus or a Velociraptor, swapped out the head, and called it a day. It's very disappointing, though interestingly I think the spines actually connect differently, like this entire separate piece that you can see, it disconnects like that. The sail is attached to this part of the back, whereas on this guy, it's a completely separate part. It's kind of unfortunate because I could use a proper Spinosaurus. I know that LEGO made a proper one very recently, and I'm not asking them to make that guy. And there's also like an actual AliExpress one that they made before that, so that would have been fun to see. I think it would have been cool, though it is pretty unfair or unrealistic of an expectation, if they made a model that looked like how he did in the video game. Like how you get some Marvel Big Figs that look like the guys from the video game. I get why they probably didn't do that. It would have been a lot more expensive. Instead of being $20, it would have been $25, but it still would have been pretty cool. Unfortunately, as it is right now, it's way too small to be an actual Spinosaurus, because I think they're around the same height as a Mosasaurus, if not a little bit smaller. I know they're less heavy, and that's just kind of unfortunate. It makes this the most disappointing part of the set, which is saying something. Fortunately, they do stick the landing, because the last thing to take a look at is, and this is what most people will be buying the set for, the plastic Mosasaurus. And they did a really good job. The Mosasaurus is a really cool dinosaur.
But Mr. T, it's not a real dinosaur. It's not a real...
And I definitely have distinct memories of getting those old Dino 2000 sets, where there were 4 of them, and you could mix and match the parts, so you could create different dinosaurs. The Mosasaurus was always my favorite of the 4 as a kid, and it's nice to get an actual proper update that isn't just brick-built. Listen, I know that some people do prefer the brick-built dinosaur stuff, but me personally, I think when it comes to live, fleshy things, unless they're original IPs where you can make like dragon mechs, I think animals should be molded parts, just like how minifigures are made out of stuff that aren't standard Lego, but they look a little bit more alive than if you made a brick-built human. It's the same thing with dinosaurs. They still have the style of a Lego toy, I guess. However, it looks alive. It's a nice balance. Regardless, one of the things I was the most worried about was the size of the figure. After all, Mosasauruses are pretty infamously big, but I think they stuck the landing. It's pretty decent. Here is a T-Rex for scale and comparison. And overall, I think they did a pretty damn good job.
Mr. T, I bet that T-Rex is a bootleg too.
Does that answer your question? Listen, man, I'm sorry. I know I betrayed you with this. I'm a Transformers fan, man. We're struggling right now. And while we're on the topic, I think these guys are a lot smaller than I was expecting. I think it's just because my introduction to these guys was the Jurassic World video game, and those minifigures are a lot bigger in the game than they are in the real world. Meanwhile, the dinosaurs are like really massive, like they take up the entire screen. But yeah, minifigures are really small, and when you scale this thing to an actual minifigure, it means they're the same height as basically a a tiny little Blockies figure. Vertically, I should say, not horizontally. Well, regardless, the Mosasaurus scales pretty well. Obviously, he's not going to be as tall, but in terms of length, he's actually a little bit longer, though it's a little hard to show on camera. So in terms of being a Mosasaurus that scales with your other Lego dinosaur stuff, I think they did a really good job here. And dare I say, I think I actually like this guy a little bit more than the 3D model that was used in the video game. I think they did a really good job here. Now, in terms of the feel, it definitely feels a lot nicer than these bootleg Jurassic Park stuff. The plastic quality isn't up to par with normal things from Lego, but you know what? It still feels nice and hefty, and the joints feel really good. As for comparison, and then with this, it's nice and smooth.
But Mr. T, those figures are supposed to have ratcheted joints.
Yes, I'm aware. Doesn't sound like that, though. Now, as for his other joints, he actually does have a useful joint in his tail, unlike this, where you just swivel it and... what did that do? And he has a very satisfying click with his mouth. Though, unfortunately, you're not going to get that much range out of it compared to, say, this guy. So, it is what it is. But overall, if you're getting the set for just the Mosasaur, I think you're going to have a pretty good time. $20 for just a Mosasaur dinosaur, especially on AliExpress, maybe a little expensive, but number one, it's about on par with an actual Lego dinosaur, which are usually like $20 to $30, so I guess it's fine. But number two, remember, this is just the highlight, not the entire thing, because as a whole set, I think this is actually pretty damn cool. The build itself is pretty fun. The minifigures are decent quality, if not a little goofy looking. And the Mosasaurus itself is great. The only thing that's disappointing is the Spinosaurus, but that's about it. And for $20, this is a really good deal. If you want an actual Lego Mosasaurus that isn't just brick built, I definitely do recommend this at least a little bit. Usually I don't like recommending bootleg stuff, or at least bootleg Lego stuff, but in this case, the main thing is not ripped off from Lego, it's just Lego inspired. And hey, now that Mega Construx is gone, the only competition I see in Walmart are basically stuff like this. So you know what? If you want it, go ahead and get it. And that's all she wrote. But is that all she swam? That was fucking stupid.